Greetings, people. Welcome back to Empowered Independence, a vlog series from the IMLC. And today we welcome another incredible artist. Truly prolific and enigmatic as a musician and producer, with decades of experience and a published CC library of over 400 tracks, I guarantee there's no one making music quite like him in the world. Hailing from Australia, we welcome Adam, also known as SOULARFLAIR. How are you doing, mate?
Very well, thanks.
Cool, and we're just really happy to have you here, and we're really interested again just to hear your journey, how you got into music, how you got into production. Give us the backstory.
Okay, I guess I was into music from a young child. Always had a good sense of rhythm and that sort of thing. Was in a school band from about age 15 to 18. My parents gave me a 4-track for a birthday present, I think, when I was about 19, and that's when I started actually doing recording myself. Had that for a couple of years, and probably within 2 or 3 years, I decided I was pretty serious about it, and then I went on to a desktop computer system and leveled up from there.
For sure, and you spent quite a long time sort of DJing and things like that as well?
I've done little bits of DJing here and there. That came a lot later in the picture. That started realistically about 10, 12 years ago.
Sure.
I've done a little bit of that in Australia, some in Asia. I had a residency in Bangkok for a while.
So tell me how you decided to sort of start producing music. What was the focus behind it? Was it just for fun, or did you have a serious intentions when you started making music?
No serious intention. Honestly, I think it's just what I'm meant to do. It's what I'm here to do, and I sort of felt that. And I've never written music for a market. I've written everything's just solely to please myself.
For sure.
So it was just a case. Like obviously, when you first start out, the songs tend to be a lot simpler, and with a 4-track, you're very limited with what you can do. But that's a good thing in that you learn the basics. So it was just a case of, I guess, the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it, and obviously your skill improves with time, and a 4-track's very limiting. So I learned pretty quick. It's like, okay, I need to sort of go to the next level from here and have access to multi-tracks and extra effects and all that sort of stuff for what I wanted to do, the story I wanted to tell with the music.
And then you were signed to, you're actually signed to Blue Pie Records.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that was about 15 years or so ago. Back in the early days, back when we still used cassettes and stuff like that, I sent out cassettes and CDRs and stuff to a few record companies to try and gauge interest, and most of them didn't respond because most of what I do is not terribly commercial, and Blue Pie was the only one that did actually like what I do and responded. So I've been doing them for a while.
So you balance being signed to a record label with also having your own kind of published CC library. Is that right?
Well, yeah. I mean, over the years, I've obviously licensed my stuff to individuals and companies and stuff like that who contacted me directly. The label gives a broader range of distribution. I haven't actually got too many licenses through them, but they've got the material into more places. And like, for example, I think they got me onto Beatport for the more dance-oriented stuff. And from what I gather, that's actually pretty hard to get onto as an individual. And I hadn't actually tried that myself.
For sure.
I just left that up to them.
So I'm really actually interested in your experience of working with a label, but also working independently on your own. Like what do you prefer? How do you balance these two things?
Well, it's not really a case of balancing because of the way I work, and because I don't have commercial inclinations, I guess is the best way to say it. The label knew pretty much right from the start how I was. They've had little suggestions here and there about where they might like things to go, but they know they're not really going to get a 3-minute hit single out of me. I gave that up long ago, so I just do what I do, and get I'll say, okay, here's a metal track for you. The next one will be a sound track. The next one will be a glitch track. The next one will be experimental electronica. It's like all over the place, and they know just to leave me do what I do.
For sure.
That wasn't really a case of balancing. I just do what I do. I give them what I do. They stick it out there, and yeah, people usually come to me through like the Free Music Archive for licensing, because I've got my stuff up there.
Exactly. So that's the next thing, really, is like, how did you find out about the Free Music Archive? How has it helped?
You.
Yeah.
An introduction from a friend.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. I mean, because you know, your music is incredible. Really, like I said, it's like you really capture the feeling of an artist that's creating music simply for themselves. You know, for their enjoyment. And I know that you're the kind of, a lot of people like me, maybe in Scott Holmes, we've kind of shifted our music a little bit to make it more commercial sounding. And I know you've never really done that. You're just an artist that's out there. You're doing what you want to do. And from my point of view, you balance lots of different things in your music career. You're kind of signed to a label. You have this royalty-free library also available, but then you also do kind of artistic videography and things like that. Mm-hmm. Is that something you've trained to do, or is that just something you've picked up over the years?
The videography, you know.
Yeah, the videography and stuff like that.
It just, I think it got to a point where like I'd released so many tracks on my own, and I thought, well, obviously stuff with visuals has more impact and it's going to reach more people. The first video I did was for a track of mine called Even in My Dreams, which was actually an 11-minute multi-genre track, which I had to cut in half for the video. So I just used a mixture of public domain and stock footage and edited some stuff together, and yeah, that was put out a while ago. And I just, no training for it, just got the video software, screwed around with it, and I found it pretty easy to pick up. I think if you've got good sense in either one or the other with regards to musical videography, it tends to carry over a bit.
Definitely, yeah. Even the editing and stuff like that, you know, there's a similarity to it, isn't there? Yeah. So and with music as well, did you have any training officially? Did you have any music lessons or production training or anything like that?
Aside from the basics at school, I had guitar lessons when I was about, I think, 7 or 8. My parents told me I had 6 guitar lessons, and then decided I could play guitar from that, and then gave that up. Obviously, I had no idea. When I started the band at school, put it this way, mostly self-taught, but learnt from, I guess, other people that I was exposed to, like the other guitarists in the band.
Of course, yeah.
And then afterwards, when I've left school and gone through uni and stuff and come back to Melbourne, I did a guitar course with a guy called Nick Tongue, actually, which was like a 12-week course, but definitely learnt some stuff from him. And
it's just the fact that you are independent as well. You've independently trained yourself, really. Guitar, you've had a bit of guitar production.
But yeah, a couple of lessons here and there with the guitar, but pretty much self-taught with everything. And like I've always said, my strength is as a producer rather than a performer. Like I'm not a shredder. I'm actually pretty self-conscious of performing in front of anybody. At this stage, I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
But if someone says like they want to hear what I do, I'd far rather give them a finished song that I've sort of slaved over and I've got control over everything.
I'm just interested as well, like your record label, Blue Pie Records. What do they actually do for you, other than sort of get your music, distribute your music into kind of places where it can be kind of streamed and sold? Do they promote you? Do they? I see them out, and I see they have a lot of artists. You know, they've got quite a lot of artists, and what? Yeah,
there's a lot of people on their register. It's more a case of, like I mentioned before, getting me onto places which are hard to get into, like Beatport, and I do actually, like I do video work for them, for the artists on the label, that's one particularly handy thing about it. So, because they saw the videos that I was doing on my own tracks and liked them, and yeah, so I've been working with their artists over the years.
Amazing. So your life, is it fully music, videography, or?
Pretty much. I mean, like, to be honest, I feel like I'm in a holding pattern at the moment. The last 2 years, I think for everybody, it's been a shit show. I'm planning on traveling extensively, and the way I work, because I can do pretty much everything on a laptop, I could sit on a beach in Thailand and do it if I wanted, and that is the plan when I can actually get over there.
So I was going to ask you what your plans for the future were. So that's obviously part of it.
Extensive travel, keep doing the music, and probably, to be honest, I'll probably do less of the videography as time goes on, because I'd rather outsource that to other professionals when the funds allow, and focus more on the music.
And
I've got lots more music in me, so.
I bet you do. I bet you do. And can you just tell us and the audience listening just any exciting kind of licensing work you've had from the FMA?
A company that makes speakers, D&B. That was probably the biggest one I had.
Your music was used, because actually your music's on my website as well, and so it was licensed by the Times newspaper. They downloaded a few of your tracks and used them in their podcast. And
yeah, there's been a real diverse range of stuff. Everything from like sort of professional big companies compared to, and also there's been like lots of people that work for like universities and stuff, and film students who put out small projects asking to use a track here and there. But most of it's been on the lower end. I would like to get it more widely heard.
I think you need to, because your music's so suitable, and I think when we look at you and your library of music, we should think this could be used for so many things, and actually it's just the case of getting it out to in front of people, and we really, when we started the IMLC, I was like, we need to get Adam on, because he's got so much music, and he's got all this suitable music, and not just that, you make a sphere of music that very few people can do effectively. I think that's key to your stuff. You have a sound that's very, and it's also the way you work is insane. I've seen your production is insane. It's crazy.
That's a compliment, thank you.
I mean, a lot of people might have heard I've done a track called Still Room on the Night Train, which you did the guitar solo.
Oh, yeah.
It was a funk track, and you're obviously you're more like a kind of progressive metal guitarist, but you managed to do this absolutely ridiculous solo on my track, and then you told me that you didn't actually play any of it, you programmed it. This is insane.
Yeah. As time's gone on, I've actually gone more, I guess, in the sort of jazz experimental direction.
Sure.
I have zero training in jazz, but I don't know who it was, but someone says they had the quote, "It's jazz because I say it is." And that's kind of where I come from.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like jazz, and I know what I like. So
no, it's good. I mean, that's what makes you unique, and we were always about, when you're an artist, you have to find what you can do that people can't do as well as you. And then you have to feed that aspect of it. And when we look at you, that's kind of what you do fully, is just feed this insane way that you do things that's so effective, but so. That's why I always say I guarantee there's no one making music like you, because it's so unique, the way you approach it and the way you actually create it. It's when you know what goes behind it. It's pretty.
Yeah. For me, the most important thing is to tell a story. I want to take people on the story.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've ever done a song where it goes like verse, chorus, verse, bridge, outro sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Number one, because most of what I do is instrumental. There's not really a need for that, for the catchy hooks and that.
Yeah.
But I've just never, because I grew up with, I guess, things like Pink Floyd and early Genesis and early Yes and stuff like that. They generally have longer, more elaborate tracks that very much do tell a story and go to different places. They don't keep going back to refer, like with the hook to sort of catch you in.
For sure.
And I've always resonated with that way of doing things.
That's the thing, because your tracks, maybe you could take one of your tracks and you could split into 10 separate tracks, what I mean? So in licensing terms, you can actually cut up your tracks, and which you do, don't you? You have different cues where you can write one track and it can be licensed in so many different ways. And actually, we really hope through the IMLC, we're picking up a bit of traction now, and there's kind of exciting things going on in the back end of our business that hopefully we can fill all within the next year. So this is our plan, because there's so many people like you that need more attention, that have this talent that just needs to be put in front of people. We really hope with the IMLC we can kind of empower these artists and people like you and just get you the kind of attention you deserve. You know, that's our plan for this next year. So.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to happen, man. And just finally, Adam, anything exciting you're working on? Anything other than traveling and bits
well,
of the beach?
I'm in the middle of a black metal track at the moment, actually.
Yeah,
Pretty brutal, so that should be finished in a week or so.
okay, cool.
But there's that. I think that there's a track with an instrument called a Byzantar, like a Middle Eastern thing I'm working on.
Amazing.
There's always about probably 20 to 40 tracks in various stages of incompletion.
Yeah,
we're just out between them, depending on how I'm motivated.
For sure.
I want to get the black metal track out. There's been a lot of frustration and anger at the world lately. So.
Yeah, get it out, nice metal track. How about anything planned for the FMA soon? You haven't done anything for there for a while?
Well, not specifically. I mean, it's just a case of I need to upload a lot of the stuff that I've done. I need to render the MP3s and get them on there.
Yeah.
I've been a bit slack, I think, for the last 6 months getting stuff up.
Sure. Yeah.
And because with the new ownership that they went under, there's some issues with actually. To be honest, I liked the way it ran before.
For sure.
And I think it's still in the growing pains.
It's kind of the transitional. Yeah, they've got big plans, I think, but it is changing. But definitely it's still a great resource, and it's still a great place for independent artists to put their music up and get some attention.
Yeah, definitely. It's more my fault for being slack getting stuff on there the last couple of months. But I need to spend some time on that, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's been really, really good chatting to you.
And you too.
Yeah, and we will obviously keep you informed of everything going on with the IMLC. And it's good to chat to empowered artists, and good to chat to people who have music and creative things in their life every day. It's really inspiring for lots of people. So great to chat
I'm
to you.
really glad to be a part of it.
No, all good, mate. All good. We're glad to have you. So we'll catch you soon, and I'll chat to you soon, mate.
Yeah, all right. Cheers, man.
Okay, man. See ya. Bye.
So thanks once again to Adam. Be sure to check out his website SOULARFLAIR.net and also his published CC library on the Free Music Archive. Also be sure to check out imlcollective.uk, and I'll check you all in the next one. Peace.